Hello and welcome to Paydirt TV. I'm Dominic Piper. Today I'm joined by Mike Dunbar, Managing Director of Mamba Exploration Limited. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no dramas, Dom. It's good to be here, actually.
Mike, pretty interesting time for the company. You've just picked up an option over the Hayden rare earths project here in Western Australia.
Yeah.
So close to town as rare earths. Everybody's after rare earths at the minute. How did you manage to come up with it with this deal?
Yeah, look, interesting one. Yes, it's relatively close to Perth, which is great. It isn't in a known area for rare earths, so it was a bit of an opportunity to get hold of a good-sized project in a commodity that not many people know much about, including myself, admittedly. But we got hold of the project from a number of private individuals who we've got projects from in the past, when we first formed Mamba in late 2020, and so there was a relationship born there, and they've got a number of projects around the state. They originally had the project and were looking for it and exploring for graphite on the project, and did a bit of drilling around the area, and sampled 3 samples for rare earths, and one of those came back with 46,000 plus change ppm rare earth oxide, so very, very high grade within clay. So interesting project and opportunity. So we've secured the rare earth rights to 4 tenements, and subsequently to that we pegged 100% in our own right 5 tenements around the original package. Rare
earths is really one of the hottest commodity groups going around. It's a really intriguing area of the market as well. As you said, there's still a lot of knowledge to be learnt about the sector.
Yeah.
Was it always your strategy to go out and find a rare earth target or project, or is Mamba sort of more of a dynamic, fleet-footed company?
Look, we are dynamic and fleet-footed. We've got a number of projects, and I suppose I'll just mention briefly the other projects. So we listed on 5 projects. A northern set of projects up in the Kimberley and the Ashburton, which are projects we can work in the winter months, and when it's footy season, you can work up in the northern projects. But we then needed, and we formed on those projects, and we then needed other assets to be able to work in the summer months. And so we've got projects in the Darling Range, not far from the Julimar nickel PGE project, and a gold project in the Great Southern. So we've got summer and winter projects. We've got a very large package up in the Kimberley, but needed to bolster the southern projects. And so we were looking for projects in the southern part of Western Australia that could boost that summer portfolio, if you like, and Hayden fit that bill beautifully. Being in the wheat belt, we can be very active from when the crops are harvested, which is around about now, until May, and then you've got a winter months when it's difficult to get access to the fields because the farmers are obviously cropping. But when that period is, we can keep ourselves very busy doing exploration in the northern part. So it's a very deliberate northern and summer portfolio, deliberately to balance and keep ourselves busy on exploration year round, and that's the strategy, and it always has been. So Hayden fits that bolstering, if you like, of the southern projects.
So Hayden is the southern projects are almost the cricket season compared to the northern footy season.
Pretty much exactly that, and that's exactly how it's been described and how I've tried to describe it. So we're coming into the footy season, the cricket season now. So I've got to play in the right field.
Whenever a junior's picking up a new project, I mean, it's a big commitment to bring on board a new project. How have you structured this deal?
Look, very deliberately we chose it. We did an option on the project, and the reason for doing an option, I'll spell out how the option works. But the reason for doing an option is there's not a huge amount known about rare earths in this area, and so we want to do a lot more work before we commit to the full commitment of the acquisition for the rare earth rights. So it's a $25,000 upfront fee, which we've paid, and that's happened. That gives us an exclusive option over the property until 45 days after one of the key tenements is renewed. That's a very procedural aspect through the Mines Department. That's up for renewal in January. The Mines Department generally takes 60 to 90 days to confirm that 5-year extension. So that will take us to March, April. And so we've got an exclusive period to get it from until then. Now that's $1 million worth of shares. that we would pay if we exercise the option. And there's also a back-end payment, not payment, but opportunity for the vendors. They get 6 million options exercisable at 25 cents, but only if we define a rare earth resource of greater than 30,000 tonnes of contained rare earths at a grade of greater than 500 ppm. So very deliberately hurdle-driven option at the back end, and that gives us all of the rare earth rights to those key projects and key tenements.
It's a great way to start your investigation on the project. What about that investigation and looking at the Hyden project itself? Again, we'll go back to that point. The rare earths can be a tricky business, and we're starting to see this clear definition now between hard rock sources, clay sources. You mentioned in your release in acquiring the project about the rare earths being in clays. Is that for certain, or is that something you have to investigate further?
No, we certainly need to investigate that, and I think there are really two aspects to the project. Firstly, yes, you're right, there are two styles, more than two styles of mineralisation for rare earths, but to simplify it down, there are clay rare earth projects which can be much lower grade because they're easier and cheaper to develop. And so they tend to be around about the 800 ppm to about 2000 ppm kind of grade range. Occasionally higher grades, but generally in that band. Hard rocks tend to be in the percents. So when we had these three results from the vendors assayed, and we confirmed it, did our own investigations on those samples, and they came back at 46,000 ppm or 4.6%. And it is in clay. It's astronomically high for clay. So really, there are three options, I think, for why is it that high. Firstly, we've just stumbled across the highest grade rare earth oxide, clay rare earth oxide project in the world. I'd like to believe that, but reality will kick in at some stage, and I don't think it's going to be that option. It may be, and I hope it is, but just reality check there. The second option is, I mentioned earlier that there's graphite in the area. Now, graphite geochemically can be a sink for all metals, but can be for rare earths as well. So there may be an association with the graphite that's been mapped and drilled nearby and this very high grade. The third option, and I think probably the more likely option, is the very high grades we've seen in clay are actually associated with hard rock, a hard rock deposit or source. So we've got to really now identify all those three options. So we'll be doing a two-pronged approach really. Yes, looking at clay mineralisation, we'll be drilling that next month in January, and so we'll be drilling at least 10 holes before the end of January. But in parallel with that, we need to identify and understand the potential for a hard rock. Now, there is a gravity anomaly nearby, just to the east of the very high grade result we have. A lot of rare earth deposits, carbonatites in particular I'm thinking of, do have a gravity signature. So we're also going to do a detailed gravity survey over the area to define that anomaly better before then drilling that hard rock or potential hard rock target as well. So we're deliberately going to be doing two sub-parallel, if you like, investigations as we go.
So, Mike, an extensive program set out there. The market gave a really positive response to the news of the acquisition. What is your market position at the moment? Have you got cash in hand to be able to fund these programs?
Yeah, look, yes, we have. Yeah, it was nice to see a market reaction from a very low base, it's got to be said, and our market capitalisation is still sub $10 million. So it's way. Every MD is going to say it's way undervalued, but anyway, what I will say though is positive reaction. We are really well a really good cash balance and cash position at the moment. And in the end of last quarter, $2.7 million in the bank. Not only are we continuing to explore and commencing the exploration at Hyden, but in January we'll be drilling, in December rather, this month, in about 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing some ground EM up at our Darling Range project. We'll be drilling that in January as well. We'll be drilling at Hyden in January, and we'll be doing a geophysical survey for gravity in Hyden as well in January. So lots of news coming up. and that's really positive for us. But with the cash balance where it is, it allows us plenty of runway to fund the exploration we want to do on the 2 projects I mentioned, Hyden and Darling Range. We've also just been drilling down at our Great Southern Gold Project, and we are undertaking another EM survey up in the Kimberley in January as well. So lots of news flow, lots of activity happening, but we're fully funded for it, and so we can really concentrate on the technical aspects rather than the funding aspects at this stage, which is really positive.
It certainly is. It doesn't sound like you'll be winding down for Christmas anytime soon. Mike, thanks for joining us today. Best of luck, and hopefully we can catch up again in the new year when some of those results start flowing.
That sounds great, Dom. Really look forward to Christmas and having a short break for me, but hopefully everyone else has a good break as well, and you as well.